Welcome to WO50 Women Over 50 in Body Wisdom and Wellness.
Hello, my name is Corrine and I'm here with my BFF Eddi. And today our topic is discovering your sisterhood, thriving and vibing together. That's what Eddi and I
Loved
do
it.
together.
Yes, we do. We talked about all kinds of things, sharing blueberries, which I couldn't share with you today, but I picked them and with my tribe.
Yeah,
nature.
we talked about how to cultivate your new tribe, how to nourish your current tribe, and the importance of it. And can boys be involved? We talked about that too. Can boys be part of your tribe too? So, yeah. So
you don't
take
always
a
have to be
listen.
a hunter, and they can be a gatherer too. We talked about that with us women.
You'll have to listen to find out that one. Hello.
Hello. How are you today?
I'm very, very good. How are you?
I'm good. I
Yeah.
was out picking blueberries all day. Fresh, lovely blueberries by the ocean.
That's so great.
Hmm
Were they the tiny ones, the wild ones that are pretty
They're
tiny?
the wild. They're wild and they're really sweet. And
Yeah.
they're not really everybody, as we met on the trail, the goat trail. Oh no, now that everybody knows where my blueberry patch is. Oh no. I'm kidding. There's lots there, but everybody's saying they're not really big this year, are they? I'm like, well, they're decent size. They're not tiny. They're not big. They're perfect.
Did you have one for your belly and one in the bag?
hmm
Yeah.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got to make sure they're worth picking.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How about
It
you when you
it
go picking berries?
I haven't picked berries in a long time. The hike I did with my sister last year that we encountered a mountain lion, cougar, as we say in Canada,
Oh,
cougar. In the US, they call them mountain lions. Um, there were blackberries all along the trail, and they were there when I went this year as well. But they'd all been picked already. And my sister said that's why people encounter bears all the time because they're all that they want the berries. And
yeah.
so, do you worry about the bears there wanting the blueberries, or do they not
Mm,
want those blueberries?
well, they might want those blueberries, but no, these ones, we don't have a lot of bears on the Avalon usually. There was
Mm.
one last year, but it's very rare. They're more on the west coast of on the island, right? And central. Yeah, there's some black bears actually, but I don't worry about them. We got moose that walk around eating them, and when you see big like flats of land flattened, I tend to go, okay, where's my group of people?
Yeah, let's make some noise.
Yeah, oh, I must shake some stuff here. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, but that's usually when you walk in the woods, you want to make noise because the animals kind of run away from you, usually, unless you're carrying a lot of berries.
They're like, oh, somebody's conveniently picked the berries for me.
Yes. Yeah. No, it was fun.
Yeah, yeah. So, we're in the fall now, coming into the fall. Our leaves are falling anywhere. We got leaves everywhere. Everybody's tracking in leaves. I want them all to go to my garden.
Oh, yeah, it's a
I've
good
planted,
idea.
I've planted a fall, well, I have almost planted a fall garden. I started some radishes and carrots and kale to put in the
Oh,
garden. Yeah.
good for
So
you.
I
I
can have
planted
some.
some bok choy in my
Oh, yeah.
greenhouse. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Because we still have some warm temps. It's going to start getting a little cool soon, but we usually have a gorgeous fall up here in Newfoundland.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
time of year, to get out and enjoy the weather and the hiking and the kayaking. How about you?
You enjoy that all year because
I do.
yeah, you're all year round, depending on like,
Hmm
you're good at, I feel like when you live in a cold place, you got to enjoy the outdoor winter sports or
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you'll just be inside all the time. So you
Well,
enjoy
you
all that
do.
stuff.
I get out and I cross country ski or downhill ski in the winter and we
Yeah.
skate and snowshoe. Yeah, you do. You have to get out and you have to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Find your find your group, find your
Find your
tribe.
find your tribe.
Yeah.
was a okay
Was
transition
it a good was it a good segue into it?
into finding your sisterhood, right? Discovering your sisterhood. So yeah, Eddie and I decided to talk about this today because well, we love our sisterhood. And your female friendships are so important. And I feel like women are, I hate to generalize, but women are usually better at cultivating long-term friendships and staying in touch with people than men. Like I have a lot of my women friends who their husbands or their significant others don't really have a lot of friends, but there are also many women who also, because they raise children or working full time, and or they've moved out of the town or state they were born in, or recently moved later in life, whatever it is, and it is harder. I feel like it is a little bit harder to make friends as we get older because it seems like everybody has their life already. You meet people and they already have their friend group and they already have their family or their grandchildren and stuff. And it is hard to kind of find someone who has the same time you do. I mean, I've got several people in my life that are like that. And so we thought we'd talk today about how do we cultivate sisterhood, find our tribe, and it's not about the quantity of people for sure.
And
Um,
it's not about everybody being the same because we're going to have, differences. That's what we talked about. You and I, we like so much of the same, same activities and a lot's the same, but there's a lot that we don't. There's a lot
yeah,
of
we have a lot of differences,
things.
you and I too. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. So finding, at this point in our lives, the children are raised, we're older. Sometimes we have health limitations, but there's always something like, and one thing jumps into my mind is my pickleball group. So I love, like now this coming Thursday, we're subbing in for some people and it's this particular little group of people and they're really like just gems. But we might do dinner at the end of the season, but we don't connect with each other any other time. If we see each other out walking, it's oh hey, but there's a vibe there that's our pickleball group. Or there's a kayak group, or there's a trail bunch, walkers that we see when we're out walking. Or I have a friend, she has a book club, right? She keeps inviting me, do you want to go into your join my book club? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I got a lot on my list right now, but maybe. So I'll keep it on the back burner. It's kind of a fun thing, isn't it?
Well, I think that all those things you talked about are, and it's interesting that you say these aren't people you go out for dinner with or even on a hike one on one. You just see them out, or you might have dinner at the end of the season. So
Hmm.
my cat friend Kathy explains it as, some people are on your bus of life, and sometimes you have to kick some people off your bus. Sometimes they're sitting in the back of the bus, or sometimes they're in the front of the bus with you. And so we have different people that are different purposes. But I feel like when we do stuff like pickleball and or a running group, I know running groups and bike riding groups are really big right now. Um, that you may not find many people that you want to like nurture and get to know better, but you might find one. And that's all it really takes is, some of the people that I've talked to over the years that are kind of craving a deeper connection and have a hard time finding that is you got to get out, whether it's to the here we have the YMCA, or a workout in a gym or different, all these, there's a lot of different groups out there. There's I know the Jewish centers, community centers have a lot of great activities as well. And you just have to get creative and look and make an effort.
Yeah.
You
Try
do.
something new. I've met some women who, if they put word out that they want to learn how to sail and again, it's when you've raised your kids, like when we're raising children or we're kind of in our before midlife, our children take up so much time, right? They do.
Yeah.
We're going to their hockey
Yeah.
game. Like I'm watching my daughter now and she's taking the kids or I'm helping her. take them to soccer or music or dance or basketball. There's always something on the go. And that's a full time. And plus, she's working. And I remember doing all that. And now at this age, we, this is why a lot of times when people go into retirement and come out of their jobs or their labels, and they retire and they go, now what do I want to do? Like, who am I? And who do I even want to hang out with? And I don't network anymore with these groups of people. Like, what is it I want to do? And it's a good time to reflect and go, is it a sport activity? Is it a travel club? Is it like,
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
You
There's
might
so many.
meet some people, yeah, you want to travel with, and that might be the only thing you do with them, or a cooking class or a chef. There's, I don't know, there's what
And I'm
appeals.
fortunate that I have Ivy House here. I've sort of really lived in community my whole life. Like when I married Satya, we were together 10 years, and we lived sort of in community in India and certainly here at the Ivy House and everywhere we went. So we'd have cooking classes that he did at Ivy House. Now I've got Sunday group meditations here that people come, and Minu's been talking about doing a book club here, and we have retreats, and one of my favorite things is the community that starts to connect without me, like whether it's on a retreat and people connect when I'm off, resting or whatever, and they're connecting in a different way. And so, there are a lot of ways to meet people. It does take an effort. And as we get
Mhm.
older, we talked, I think last week, and I don't know if we posted it last week or not, because sometimes I don't post them in order, but one of our podcasts was you can teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
Actually, I posted a few weeks ago. That's right, Habit Reboot. And so, it is, yes, we can learn new things as we get older, but it takes more effort because we've got those well
Mhm.
trodden, well worn pathways in our brain of doing things the same way. Like even I'm, as much as I am flexible in life and I'm a yogi and I have, sort of a gypsy kind of lifestyle compared to some people. I still have like this routine that I do in the morning and, and that can create these pathways that can become limiting. And so
Mhm.
you have to look at that and kind of break out of your comfort zone and do some of these things if you want and need to find a few more people for your tribe.
I love that because even when I'm down at your place at the Ivy House and we do yoga, it's really funny because I haven't seen some of the people for a while, and then there's that reconnection again, and it feels so good. Like you just go, "Oh, I love this," and then everybody's talking about the bread that's cooking in the bread machine, like, and we can smell it. We're doing yoga, and it's gone from let's make sure we get this pose right to going, "Oh God, that smells so good." I can't wait.
See, yeah, and there you
Yeah.
go. It's like food. And Colleen came up with that when we started Ivy House. Can you believe it's 13 years ago now?
Wow.
It's
Wow.
crazy. It's been here that long.
Yeah.
And Colleen
Yeah.
had the idea of like breaking bread together. And
Yeah.
so she took a
Yeah.
couple of months developing this special bread recipe that we have a bread maker, but and then we've changed it over the years. Like we've used different grains, and now I get really healthy grains like spelt and kamut and einkorn. And then I
Mm.
not only get the like grain, but then I sprout it. Like I've got some sprouting downstairs in water right now. And then I dehydrate it in my dehydrator. And then I grind it in my Vitamix. And then we make the bread. And people are like, can I have the recipe? And I'm like, oh, yeah, you can have the recipe, but it's not going to taste the same.
No, it's not. It's Corinified. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just
And
gather the sisters and we'll come over in
yeah,
your hood
exactly.
and eat that bread. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So food is a great way to cultivate. And over the years, we've had like a Sunday group meditation, then we'll have a meal and food. And we'll have like 6 or 8 or 10 people for Sunday group meditation on any given week. But when
Yeah.
we offer food, like when Sachi used to cook an Indian meal, there'd be like 65 people that show up on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Really, only 10 of them or 20 of them might be interested in meditation, but they all,
Yeah.
show up. Of course, 65 can't fit in the meditation room,
Yeah.
but yeah,
And
yeah, we
and you know what? People remember that because when you guys came up here and we did a cooking event and yoga, I think we did at the Hindu temple here.
yeah, Yeah.
even recently, people have said to me, are you going to do that again? Like I heard you and Corinne on your podcast. Like I love when you guys do that. And because it felt so good. And I'm thinking, here they are still talking about it all these years later, how good the food was and the conversation and just that group that was pulled together. Like we didn't care who came. We just put the notice out and
Yeah.
here's who can come. But isn't it beautiful when you do things like this? You get that magic, in the group that attends that,
Yeah.
wow, everybody fits perfectly, right?
Yeah.
Like it's beautiful
Yeah.
how
Yeah. Because
that
yeah,
coming together.
yeah, and the people that are drawn and sort of, you're not drawn to everybody, but you're drawn to a couple people and those connections you make, and then the feeling that you get, because we had
Mhm.
music, I think, then as well at that event. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, and you do meet a diverse group, even though it's somewhat like-minded because they're drawn to the same thing. It's still we had all ages and all people
Oh
who did
yeah.
all different things. Yeah. So
Yep. It was great. Some people didn't like spice, but they ended up liking it after that. They're like, oh, this is a different kind of spice. So we open our mind as we learn more about it. Cause sometimes we go, no, I don't do curry. And
oh
then
yeah.
they eat it and it's like, oh, you're used to that kind of curry. No, no, no. You need to try this.
Yeah.
There's just, yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I can't tell you how
Beautiful.
many times people would say that to me. I don't like curry. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I think you're not understanding what Indian food is. And when they say that, because curry is so many different things. There are actually curry leaves, now that we're talking about
Yes.
it. There
Mhm.
are actually curry leaves that you can get at the Indian or the
Yep.
Asian market in the
Yep.
freezer section and stuff.
I bought
But
some
that,
here. They had fresh ones at Coleman's just
nice.
up the street. I couldn't
Wow.
believe it. I'm going, what? Yeah,
And did you
couldn't
freeze
believe
them
it.
so you could have it for
Mhm.
later?
I
Yeah, I do
did.
that
I
with
bought the whole little.
lemongrass. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love lemongrass too. Just really distinct flavors and
Yeah, and they
yeah,
add to cooking. So, but I know it raised in Canada because I don't think it was like this in the US, but curry used to be a little spice and it was a mix of spices and it was yellowish. So it seems
yes,
like it was heavy on the turmeric and it had a distinctive taste that I
it
didn't really
did.
like very much.
No,
Like
no,
I think
and
it
it
was,
smelled.
yeah, it
Yeah,
smelled.
yeah,
Yeah, my mom used to put like I think it in tuna on toast or something. She used
yeah.
to put that curry mix. I was like, or no, shrimp dish she used to do. That's right. She have canned shrimp that, oh my gosh, how we used to eat in the 80s. Canned shrimp
Yeah.
and this with this curry. And then, and of course, then when I had my first Indian food, I remember my boyfriend, one of the first David, I had three Davids. My first David was when I was what, 27 or 28 or 27, no, because he got me into meditation. And he got me into meditation. I had my first sushi with him and I had my first Indian food with him. So those are all when I was 26, 27, didn't do any of those things. Can you believe that?
Wow,
I didn't have
wow,
Indian food or sushi in my whole
wow,
life until I was 26 years old.
wow. He cultured you.
I know, and meditation, everything. I've had these dream. I've been dreaming about him recently. I texted him. We usually get together for dinner every couple of years and kind of compare notes on meditation and stuff. He's my buddy, even though we had a terribly heartbreaking breakup, but that was 30
That's
years ago, so
that's the
it's all
past. You
good.
can't lament on that. That's
No,
gone.
no, no.
You
We're
be like
we're
the Buddha. Let that shit go.
yeah, totally. No, I did let it go, and I'm so grateful for him, and I
Uh,
tell him that all the time. I'm
yeah,
so grateful because he really did change my life, even though he broke
yeah.
my heart at the same time. He broke
Yeah.
my heart open, is what
Mm,
I like to
that's
say.
good. That's how the light gets in.
That's right, Rumi.
Mm-hmm. That's
I don't
right.
know how we started talking about one of my ex-boyfriends, but
I
anyways,
know. Yeah. He wasn't part of the sisterhood. Of
no, no. Can boys be part of the sisterhood? I
course
feel
they
like
can.
Sean, yeah, like Sean is a
I
good
heard
example.
this is yeah, Sean definitely. And I heard a comedian, my friend Deb, when we went to see a comedian the other night, and he said he was pretty funny. And he said, he said, I go back with these hunter gatherers and I get it. I get it. But like if I was born back in those days, I want to hang out with the gatherers. Like those gals, they know what they're doing. He goes,
He didn't want to be with the hunters.
they're
That's
back there
awesome.
talking about stuff. They're eating food, and the boys are out there. Like, I don't want to be with them. I want to be a gatherer.
That's
He was funny.
awesome.
He's like, can I be a straight guy and still be a gatherer? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So there are these guys like my friend Sean, our friend Sean. I used to do a podcast called Turning Points with him. And he's just very in touch with both his masculine and feminine. And we can really discuss anything with Sean, right? Like there's no topic
yeah,
off the table with him.
yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
He's great.
So,
Yeah.
so
Miss him.
some, yeah,
Miss him,
some
miss
guys
him.
are, yeah, I miss him too so
Yeah,
much.
so even part of the sisterhood, yeah, the guys can be part of it. But it's like my partner, he knows when to up and leave. Like if the sisterhood
Oh,
is
he's
getting
so good.
he is.
He's
He
so
can just
good.
hang with everybody and take it in and absorb it and then he'll go, you don't even know he left the room.
Yeah. So true. So, and he's
You
so
know?
cute with when he's had enough, especially when you and I are together. It's
Oh
just-
yeah. Oh yeah. Like he knows
the poor
he'll
guy.
just yeah. He's like, you too. Like what? Like I can't believe it. You guys know each other all these years, and you never run out of things to talk about. I'm like, no, we don't. We don't. It's endless. There's so much.
I can't tell you, Eddie, how many relationships I've had where I'm sitting across the table with the dude and I'm like, there's nothing to talk about. You know?
I know. We'll drum up something. We'll find something.
Oh, you and
Yeah.
I absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, or laugh about something, or, I swear, Eddie, you've healed me so many times with your laughter and your sense of humor. And,
Well,
it's true.
yeah. Well, it's got wit gets you through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Like
Yeah.
humor is beautiful. And there's another thing. Be around people that make you laugh.
Oh, my
Really
favorite.
belly
Yes.
laugh, like real, it's truth, it's funny, yeah,
Healing. Like
it's
you told me when I
healing.
when I remember when I was really sick years ago with some adrenal stuff, and I finally, after a year into it, I made it up to Newfoundland, and I knew I needed to be around you, and we laughed nonstop, and it was so healing. And you reminded me, you're like, yeah, when you're laughing, there's like some tears that are healing that can come. There's your diaphragm
Oh,
that's pumping. What
oh yeah,
else?
your
Yeah,
lungs get shook up, you're coughing. Like just think about it. It's like a lymphatic detox. Like it's so important.
yeah,
And really when you're feeling off and you're feeling kind of just, I don't know, just just out of sorts with yourself,
hmm,
the peeps that you can call on
yeah,
to make you laugh or
yeah, or to
to listen
share.
to you or
Yeah,
share.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Or no, just when to listen. Just they don't say anything. And you and I, man, we've laughed so much over the years. Like what was it Colleen said? What? The two of you guys are doing a silent retreat?
Oh,
No, your
mom
mom
said,
said
my
it.
mom
Yeah.
said that. She's like,
Because, oh, yeah,
that's not.
right. Let's see how that's going to work. But anyway, we made it work.
Hmm.
We did.
Hmm.
We did. So, yeah, connections,
Yeah. So
supporting. Yeah.
if you already have a good circle, I hope that you're nurturing and reaching out and nourishing the friendship and nourishing yourself. And if you're craving, because I feel like I know more people that are craving it, um, then don't lose hope because, intentions are powerful and
Mhm.
just changing up a few things, there will, if you would like another friend or two, you just put an intention out there and try a few new things and it will happen. And go out on a limb and ask somebody for lunch,
Yeah.
who you just sort of maybe have been thinking about that you want to get to know a little bit better, and even tell them, I'd like to
Or
get to know you better.
yeah, or call up an old friend that you haven't talked to in years, or they might have come into your head for some reason. It might be their
Yes.
birthday, and you call, and they're like, "Oh my gosh," and all these coincidences start happening, and you go, "Oh, we got to get together." And Jane Fonda said one of her regrets in life is that she didn't nourish her women friendships in her 50s and 60s, and
Yeah.
she's doing that now.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, don't hold on to regrets. You've done so much in your life, right? Like she goes, yeah, but my women were those were my peeps. So I had to
Yeah. I mean,
nourish those
absolutely.
relationships.
There are, are people who, when they get in a relationship, their friends fall to the wayside. We all had them when we were younger. I was probably one of those girls when I was younger. Um, and And as we get older, I think we're better. Like I have a friend who she's been wanting a relationship for so long, and she finally found this guy like 6 months ago. And I haven't seen her much, but she keeps reaching out. She's like, I'm sorry, I don't want to be one of those girls. And I know her life is just busy because she's
Yeah.
moved and she's started this new company, all this stuff. And
Hmm.
it's all good. I'll be here because I'm the type of friend where you don't have to reach out to me all the time. Like I've got some friends that I talk to once a year or even once every 2 years. And like whether it's from high school or something, and it's totally fine. I don't have any
Hmm.
expectations with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I only have expectations with you, Eddie, when I'm feeling lousy.
Same, the same. And it doesn't go on too long. There's usually a text, and it's like, oh, I didn't have Wi-Fi, or we warn each other, oh, I'm going to be out of the country,
So
or
true.
like we're
I
so
won't be
good
able to.
with, yeah, we're so good with doing that. We have all this time, in our lives. It's important, right? It's
Yeah.
really
Well,
important.
and I
Yeah.
think part of it was because when I was in Mexico a couple of years ago, I was having a really hard time this trip, and Eddie was in. I can't remember what month it was, but Eddie was in a very busy time in her life, and I was like down in Mexico for like 2 weeks, not having a good time, and I kept sending. You think all this work that we've done on ourselves, you think we'd know, but I kept sending what I thought were messages that I wanted her to text me. But
Whoops.
right, as she wasn't hearing that, she was just like, oh, whenever, right? So finally, after like the fifth text, but I didn't say, she's like, I was like upset with her. I'm like, I've been trying to reach you and I need you. And but
Like, oh,
we
oh,
communicated.
oh
She's
my
like, why didn't
goodness.
you tell me? And I'm like, I've sent you 5 texts. And she goes, well, all you said was, I'd like to connect, or are you available? You didn't say, I need to talk to you.
You have to tell me. I'm literal. You have to say, I need you and I need you to contact me
Yeah.
like today.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's
It's
interesting where we are in our heads, right? Like that one could be just melting, having a meltdown, and the other one's like they're in, some retreat somewhere, having the time of their lives, or a part of a world and having a great time. And the text reads differently, doesn't it?
yeah.
Right? It comes in and you're like, oh, I need to talk to you. She must have a lot of fun stuff to share. Well, I don't have time right now because I got too many things on my list to do today. I'll have to, because we need to have one of those emojis like with a help, big eyes. Like,
They probably have one.
I think there is one, but it's more, that's a shocked face. We
Yeah.
need one like help, like
Yeah.
my friend, my
Yeah.
sisterhood friend.
Yeah. Now I've been researching AI lately, where you can
Mhm.
actually make one of those.
You can? Oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh. Oh, we're going to
Yep.
have some
You'd
fun
have
with
fun with
that.
that.
Yeah, if I get into that, I might, you might never
You'd
not
never
see me
leave.
for a long time.
I know something that created art that you could co-create art and emojis with.
Oh boy. Oh
Mm-hmm.
boy. Yeah, I
Yep.
would be, I don't know what would happen. You get into that lane of painting or writing a book or a song or yeah. And then now we have this intelligence.
Yeah.
Wow. We got to
We should
welcome
do
that.
we should do a podcast on that. Oprah's got the thing
Hey.
coming up. By the time we post it, it'll be gone already. But you can look for Oprah's doing a show. Eddie had shared with me with on AI on September 12th, and so
Hmm.
look for that on YouTube. It'll be posted probably on social, and to learn more about it because it's
Hmm.
there to help us. It's and so I'm having fun. I'm learning all about it. So we could do a
Yeah.
podcast about that one time,
That's a
maybe.
great idea, especially
Yeah.
as we're learning about it and more people are learning about it. And I'm sure, I mean, my grandkids are getting ready to go back to school and wow, can you imagine when they're in high school? They're in elementary now, how much of the AI they will be using?
Yeah. Well, we have been using AI, all of us, for 20 years already. We just didn't realize it.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's funny we're going sort of away from the topic, but we are on the topic because Eddi and I are each other's very strong sisterhood, obviously. And, and I do get, I don't know if you get this response sometime from people, but I'll be like, oh, you enjoying the podcast? And they'll be like, oh, yeah, I love it so much. You and Eddi remind me so much of me and this friend or me and that friend,
Yeah.
And so that makes them feel closer to their bestie, when they listen to us or, they want to reach out to them more or something. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like to hear that.
I'd love for everyone on the planet to have a bestie like we are. We're so
Hmm.
lucky, aren't we?
We are
It's
very lucky.
great. And we work very hard on our relationship, on
Yeah,
our
we do.
friendship and
We do.
and it's being mindful and aware and
And
unless you're in
communicating with
Mexico and I'm having fun sailing or something. I don't know.
sometimes the timing's just off. I remember when I got sick too, you were traveling with Sue in Portugal
Oh
years
wow.
ago when I got really sick. And so and I didn't want to ruin your vacation, so I didn't, but couldn't wait till you got back
Wow.
so I could get help from Dr. Eddie.
Wow.
I was
That's only
sick with
twice
adrenal
in
stuff.
40 years. That's pretty good.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And that
Yeah.
that makes up for me missing your 40th.
Oh, we won't talk about that. That's okay.
We
That's all.
talked about that on a
You've made it
podcast
way
already.
up for that. There's lots of things we could, my gosh, we could dig out the scrapbooks, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Like the
Uh,
cake, the 34
oh,
year old
yes.
candles on your cake, where she had just told the guy she was dating she was 30. And I come in with a big cake with 34 on it. She's looking at me like, what the get rid of the
You're a big fat
candles.
storyteller. That is not what happened, but it's a good
It just
story,
sounds
actually.
good. It's close. It's
It's
close.
kind of maybe.
Yeah. Well, okay.
It's
Will we
very funny.
elaborate? It's
No,
a
it's all
funny
good.
story.
It's all good. It's all
Yeah,
good. I think we've told this story on
we
on
did.
pod
We did.
before.
But
Yeah.
if you'd have to listen back to the old podcast to get the
So to
real
get the
stuff,
full
because
story,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, we've had
But
lots of fun, lots of memories, lots of, being there for each other and not being there for each other. And this is what friendships are all about. This is what sisterhood's all about. I have some wonderful, wonderful friends. Here in Newfoundland, Canada, in around the world. And like yourself, we reach out and it could be once a year, it could be every day.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
it's helpful for, they've done all these studies that when you share your story, if you've had a traumatic event, which maybe you don't haven't had a traumatic event or maybe you just need support on your day, but it does help to share it with somebody. It really does. And
Hmm.
rather than it spinning inside your head, it just helps to share it with just one person. It's not like you live with the same story for weeks and weeks, but if you do have an event happen that you're worried about, or, like I've got one of my clients who's also a good friend of mine going through a very difficult time at work right now. So she's been reaching out to me more as a life coach and also as a friend, both, right? And she's in the middle of it right now after she's thought her job of that she's been with the company for 33 years. She thought she'd retire there. She's supposed to retire in 5 years, and she might be having to retire or leave early because the company's changing so much. And so she's in a huge transition time. And so we do need our people for that. Like there's no reason to go through it alone.
That's right.
And there's tools out there. She just texted me this morning and she's like, I woke up in the middle because I had a session with her yesterday and she was doing well. And she said, I woke up in the middle of the night with my head spinning. And then the mantra like I've told her before, just I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. Just focus on your breath. I am breathing in. And she said that worked to get her to get back to sleep. So,
Mm.
whether it's somebody like a life coach or a really good friend, we're not alone. We're all in this together and we're all going through very similar stuff because we're
Yeah,
all on the planet at the same time. Even with our differences, we're all
it's
very
true.
similar.
We are. We are. And it's really important that we have those connections in place, especially now in our lives as we get older and in our second and third chapters of our life, is that we really, set up those true, what's real, what's alive, what's true, what we value, what we appreciate, the gratitude that we hold in our hearts for the peeps that we love. And yeah, these connections are really important because sometimes, when we don't have them, we sometimes feel really alone, and we're not. We're
No,
not.
we're not. There's no reason. I mean, I certainly struggled with loneliness especially when I was younger, and um, and younger being in my 20s and 30s. That's I
Mm.
struggle with loneliness, and there's no reason to be alone in the world. There are so many of us, and people are always happy to help. That's the thing
Mhm.
too, is you have to understand, like, a lot of times, especially as strong women, we don't want to reach out for help or say we need help. Like, that was probably an underlying reason of why I didn't say, "Hey, Eddi, I need your help." I was just
Yeah.
like, I was like trying to, I could say manipulate you, or I wasn't, but trying to get you to text me by texting every day and saying, "Hey, let's try to," instead of just saying, "I need you. Can we talk? Do you have time tonight?"
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
as strong women, we have a hard time being vulnerable or telling people we need things, and to share, to reach out, because we all have times when we're vulnerable, and we all have times, um,
Mhm.
and people are always so happy to help. Like, you ever notice on
Yep.
Facebook that the things that get the most responses are when somebody says, "Does anybody know of a grocery store where I can get such and such? Does anybody have a gardener idea? Anybody have a carpenter or a
Yeah.
housekeeper?" It's like, "Does
Yeah.
anybody know where the best bagel is in town?" It's like 55 responses in 30 minutes,
Yeah. It's great.
you
Yeah.
know?
It's really is wonderful. And also, with reaching out, we don't need to think the thought for somebody else. Like, we don't need to go, oh, I'm not going to bother them. They're having a great time, and I don't want to ruin their vacation, or, and be like a downer. And my gosh, no, because like, even if I had known when you were struggling, and you made it clear, like, I really need to talk to you, I would go drop everything and call you, right? And I'd be only too happy. I felt worse not responding. That's
Right. Or
what
not
happens.
knowing. Yeah.
Not
Yeah. Not knowing.
knowing
Yeah.
that you needed that response, right? So
Yeah.
that's what happens. We end up going, oh, why didn't you tell me what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we need to do this. But again, it's making it clear. And when we
Yeah.
have, those like sister connections in place, or those beautiful friendships in place, we know, and we start, the vibe starts, we know who we can connect and who we can't at different times, that it gets easier.
Yeah.
I would think, I hope.
Yep. I mean, it's
That's
like
the
a
plan.
muscle. The vulnerability muscle is like any other muscle. The reaching out for help muscle is like any other muscle. It just gets easier as you do it more.
Yep.
Just,
And that's
yeah.
why when we do things like retreats and, wellness things, or yoga classes, or nature walks, or a class somewhere, we start kind of feeling, ooh, I like it here. I like this class. Ooh, I like this type of meditation. Ooh, I like this group. And then it starts to fall into place without us overthinking.
Yeah.
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 So here's to you, sister.
Here's to you, sister,
Yeah.
and all your sisters listening, and brothers.
Yep.
Well, I hope that everybody's having an awesome day, or morning, or evening, wherever you're at. And my day is better from talking to you, Ed.
Same here. Always look forward to it.
Yeah, we like
Always
Mondays.
Yeah, always a great conversation. Helps us dig deep and kind of reconfirm. Yeah.
And have a few laughs too at the same time, maybe.
Yeah, I wish I could share my blueberries with you.
Oh my gosh, don't even say.
They're so good.
All right, love ya.
Love you too. Thanks.